Chef Omar with the James Beard nominated Saffron des Trois. Hey guys, I'm Chef Omar with the James Beard nominated Saffron des Trois. We've partnered today with Detroit Food Policy Council to show you guys some unique and creative ways that you can utilize these USDA food boxes. Because if you're anything like me, you're sick and tired of seeing the same thing and you don't know what to do with it. Let's begin. Alright guys, segment 1 of our 3-part segments is knife skills. So today I kind of want to go over the basics of how to hold a knife, how to use a knife, and what you're going to do with it. So the first thing you don't want to do is your classic this. This creates carpal tunnel. Let's get rid of that and teach you guys how to hold a knife properly. Each knife has a balance point, which is typically back here by the hilt of the blade. So you want to pinch here and then use the rest of your hand to wrap around the knife. And this is going to give you the most control and comfort over the knife. Okay? This is probably one of the most common ingredients in your USDA boxes. You guys get a ton of onions. So now that you know how to hold the knife properly, let's teach you guys how to use it and cut up this onion. You want to start with a very, very sharp knife. The sharper your knife is, the safer it is. Especially when cutting something round like an onion. It doesn't have a flat surface and it's easy for the knife to slip if it's not sharp, and then boom, you're in the yard getting stitches. So, not to be morbid, but let's do this the safe way. So the first thing you're going to want to do, it'll go like that. It'll go like that. And then this is the wrong way to do this. Look at all the waste we have here, and we want to eliminate that. So I'll show you the chef way. What you're going to want to do is grab your onion, just the root end. That's all you need to take off. This will go in the trash because that root end is what sits in the dirt and has all that nasty stuff in it. So that will go in the trash. The rest of your onion, however, will go into a container. And this is a zero waste moment for you. We always save our onion scraps, our peels, and everything, and they go great when you make a vegetable stock, which we'll get into later on in the video. So, once you have your onion tailed, you can take the tip of a knife, come in, and spin. This is all my onion waste. Boom, done. So from here, you want to cut the onion in half. I see a lot of people cut it in half this way. You actually want to set it up on its top, right through the root, and cut it in half. So if you look at the anatomy of an onion, it actually has concentric rings in layers, right? And so the old school French technique for doing this is to go straight up and down and then come across and then chop it. Well, the pieces don't come out the same, but nature has given us these lines. If you zoom in really close here, you can see there's natural lines in the onion that show you exactly where to cut. So what we'll do is once we have our onion peeled, I leave the root end intact. Why? It's going to hold the onion together while I'm trying to cut it. So, if I want dice, for example, I'll follow these onions along the radius, and when I get to the top, it's straight up and down. And then I'll come over as many segments as I need to create the dice I'm looking for. Next segment, next segment, next segment, next segment. And you notice I keep angling my knife back towards the center because that's how those concentric layers work. Once I get to there, if I want to dice, I no longer have to cross hatch, I no longer have to do all this other stuff. I can straight just chop. The smaller you chop, the smaller your pieces. The larger you chop, the larger your pieces. The closer, the more lines you skip, the larger your dice will become. The less lines you skip, the smaller your dice will become. So it's really that simple for creating a dice. Claw method. Let's talk claw. So the easiest way to use this knife is the rocking motion, which is the classic French technique, right? You don't have to do this. It's more for speed. If you use your knuckle to guide your knife, this is what we call the claw method. If you use your knife like this, this is the #1 way to end up in an emergency room, right? So what we do is we claw our fingers and put the thumb in the back and pull our fingers towards our thumb. And as long as the knife stays on our fingers, we can't cut ourselves. Notice how the knife always stays straight up and down as I move, right? So now if we take that to the onion, I can then do the same thing. And when I want to get fast, I just get faster. Now, speed is not as important as precision, so go as fast as you can. So here's that little last nub. It's gonna go right in our stock pot. And now we have a bunch of small dice. They're all exactly the same size and ready to cook. The reason we want to cook our cuts the same size is because we want them to cook at the same speed. Some pieces are smaller than the other. Some are going to get overdone, some are going to get underdone. Now, that root end that we left intact, if we just take it out, now I have nothing holding the onion together. And that same radial technique that we just discussed, and now there's nothing holding it together on the back end. And you have your strips. Okay? So these are the two techniques you're going to use to get strips of onions or dice of onions in a very efficient, clean way. And that is how you cut an onion.